In this video, we're going to discuss the 5 reasons why you should start a recruiting agency right now. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Natasha, the business recruiter. Welcome back to my channel. So I know that there's a lot of these videos out there that ultimately outline all of the benefits of you starting a recruiting agency. And I'm here to tell you that those videos probably go into a lot of great detail, but I want to provide you with what my perspective is on why you should think about starting a recruiting agency and ultimately try to use this video to do it in the most concise manner possible. So we're going to go ahead and kick off with reason number 1, which is actually the fact that you get to work remotely. It is not required that you have a physical office location in order to run your recruiting or staffing agency. It's important to recognize that the opportunity to be successful in this space does not require you having a lot of overhead from that perspective as it relates to you leasing out a building or even purchasing a building for your recruiting or staffing agency. It's also one of the neat things for me in terms of and thinking about the fact that corporate America has really forced individuals to go back into the office this year. While we saw a lot of flexibility throughout the pandemic, now that we're getting into a space where the pandemic is over, many organizations are leaning towards their employees returning to the office. If this is something that you're not a fan of, then you being able to start your own recruiting agency or staffing agency can ultimately allow you the opportunity to continue to work remotely. Now, number 2 is going to be the fact that it actually is relatively low from an expenses standpoint in order for you to get started with a recruiting or staffing agency. Part of the reason is because you don't necessarily need to take on all of the tools and resources that are out there in order for you to operate a successful recruiting agency. You can start very minimal in terms of slowly getting to the point where you add new tools and resources to your systems and processes that you already have in place. But in order for you to get started, you don't need that. Ideally, you should be able to get your recruiting agency off of the ground for as little as $500. Now, on the staffing side, this can definitely vary because there is a lot of upfront capital that's needed from a staffing perspective. But when it comes to you actually running a recruiting agency and simply focusing on direct hires or direct placements or permanent placement, it's a lot easier for you to be able to get started. That $500 investment ultimately allows you the opportunity to have a website, get your domain name, get registered with your state, and ultimately get some tools and software such as Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, as well as a professional email address for you to be able to kick off your recruiting agency. Other than that, there's not a lot that you necessarily need, and you can definitely start scrappy if you like. Now, if you have more money to go ahead and invest into your business, then by all means, I encourage you to do it because it'll definitely make your life easier. But my point is that you don't need all of that capital in order to get started. If you're enjoying this video so far, then be sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button as well as that bell so that you can get notified of all of my videos that do drop weekly. Okay, kicking off with number 3, and this is going to be the fact that you have the opportunity to continue to develop your skills, and ideally this meaning people skills. You've probably already been in the workforce at this point, so you have an idea of, where you stand in terms of your current people skills, but owning a recruiting or staffing agency allows you the opportunity to continue to hone in on those skills. Ultimately, it puts you in a position where you can start to become a master of negotiation. You can start to become a master of organizational design. You can start to become a master of being able to build relationships. There's a lot of people skills that are associated with this business. And if that's something that you're interested in or something that you feel that you're really good at or something that you feel you want to develop, starting a recruiting agency allows you the opportunity to be able to do that. And ultimately, these skills will stay with you for life. So you have the opportunity to hone in on them, get better at them, and then you'll continue to be able to have them for the remainder of your life. Number 4 is the fact that recruiting is in high demand. Now, it'll of course ebb and flow with what's going on in the economy. As we saw in 2023, recruiting really slowed down, specifically within the tech industry, mortgage industry, as well as some other industries that were out there. However, there were industries that were still hiring, such as construction. So it will definitely ebb and flow, but recruiting overall will always be in demand. As you think about going into 2024 and ultimately the opportunity that you'll have in order to start your own recruiting agency, I would highly encourage encourage that you think about those niches or industries that are really going to be profitable for you. Where is the demand currently? What are the things that you're continuing to hear on TV or in news articles or on social media? For me, one thing that I really want to hone in on in 2024 from a niche perspective is generative AI. AI, or artificial intelligence, has been all the rage for a while now, but I feel like it's really been at the forefront in 2023. And that's not going to stop as we go into 2024. So I encourage you to think through what are those opportunities that you do have in order to be able to sink into this high demand industry. And finally, what I feel is actually one of my favorite benefits about owning a recruiting agency is the ownership piece. And this is really that battle between you being your own boss or working for someone else. And don't get me wrong, being able to have a 9-to-5 job and work for someone else is perfectly fine. You can actually start a recruiting agency on the side and choose not to leave your 9-to-5 job if you don't want to, but it allows you the flexibility to ultimately be able to make that decision. And it allows you the opportunity to really be your own boss, which means that you're calling the shot. You have the opportunity to really exercise whatever creative license you want. And ultimately, you put yourself in a position where you are the captain of your fate at this moment. You have the opportunity to steer your business in whatever direction you want. And for me, that's a really cool experience. For others, they might be a little bit intimidated by it, but I encourage you to fight through that imposter syndrome if it is something that you're even slightly interested in, because I can assure you that it is definitely worthwhile. Now, while these are not all of the benefits by any means in regards to you being able to start a recruiting agency right now, these are what I would consider to be the top 5 that if you're still on the fence in terms of thinking about getting started, these are my top 5 reasons why you should go ahead and jump in. And of course, I am always available to help and assist in whatever way I can. I'm going to go ahead and leave the link down below for my Facebook group where we're in there talking all things recruiting. And I do also have a course if you're interested in getting more direct help in regards to starting your recruiting agency, and I'll be sure to leave that link down below as well. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.